First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County for over 75 years. Customer service is a priority at First Federal Savings Bank, where they want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, products, and services of larger banks with hometown people that you see throughout your community. They live here, they work here, and this community matters to the people at First Federal Savings Bank. First Federal Savings Bank has 4 convenient locations in downtown Lincoln, Bossier City, Denver, and West Lincoln. Stop in and visit and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome out to the Lincoln County High School Football Show. It's the First Federal Lincoln County High School Football Show, Ken. Right here for you on Friday night. Myself, Tim Johnson, and Mr. Ken Link, your host every Friday night on WLON 1050 AM. Ken, how you doing, buddy?
Doing fine, Tim, and I'm excited to be talking about Lincoln County football.
I am too, Ken. We got a great show for you today, folks. So if you like Lincoln County High School football, Ken, this is the show to listen to.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the 4 Lincoln County teams every week. We'll be previewing games. We'll be talking about results of the previous games. And, Tim, we'll have an award that will be given out every week to a deserving Lincoln County football player of the week.
Absolutely. And I tell you, Ken, before we get into the show, I want to thank – there's a few people I want to thank. I want to thank Demery Brewer from – First Federal Savings Bank in Lincoln. Demery has made this happen. Him and, of course, his partner, Miss Dyra Aker, ladies and gentlemen. So, Dyra and Demery, thank you so much. First Federal Savings Bank for being our big sponsor here for the Lincoln County High School Football Show, Ken. We're so excited.
Yes, and, Tim, we're going to kick it off here and talk a little bit about those Lincoln Wolves, who's a lot of people think they're going to have a rebuilding year this year because they lost a lot of talent off of that last year's 13-2 team.
Well, Ken, they lost their quarterback and lost their wide receiver, 2 of their big leaders of the football team as well, some other kids too on the football team. And I know Lefford Gibson, he's excited for this football team. I've talked to him numerous times, Ken, and he said, Tim, now you got to remember, we still have a lot of great athletes here.
They do have a lot of good athletes, and yeah, they lost a lot of their offense with Cordell Littlejohn. He transferred. They didn't expect that to happen at the end of last football season to Roswell, Georgia, as well as his brother Jamar, and we're missing those this year. And unfortunately, the backup quarterback that we thought we'd have decided he wants to concentrate on basketball. He's a very good basketball player.
He is.
That's Chris Robinson. And so they were searching for a signal caller, Tim, and they basically took somebody that's already on the team that's a good athlete, and Tyreek Hollis is going to be the quarterback this year.
Absolutely, Ken. And like you said, Hollis is going to get in there. He's going to get his feet wet. We saw him up here at Cherville in the scrimmage games against Ashbrook and Cherville High School. He played pretty good. I mean, you could tell that he was still kind of nervous. He was learning the offense from a different perspective. I mean, he's under the center now, Ken, so that's a totally different from being a wide receiver, in an I formation, for getting the football in your hands all the time.
Yeah, and you got to get used to
he does
making some decisions. He's out there thinking. He's got to be running things out there and doing the plays. So it's a lot more than just one assignment. You got to sort of know what's going on all over the.
You got to know everything. Absolutely,
Ken. And I look for Lincoln. Not that obviously won't pass as much now that Cordell Littlejohn's not there. But Lincoln always ran the ball, and I think they'll go back to more of a running tack. They won't throw it nearly as much, and they have some speed. They've got Harris back from last year. He's a good running back. He's not big, but he's really, really quick and fast, and got a good fullback that Terrell McLean will be back there, and he'll be pounding a little bit. So I look for him, Tim, to maybe take a little while to get the offense going, and hopefully the defense will come around and help them until that offense gets going good.
Right. Well, they play Stuart Cramer, Ken, at Stuart Cramer, and their record last year was 75. They made the playoffs, Ken, last year in their 3rd year. Now, remember the Big South 3A Conference, North Gaston, Forest View, Huss, Ashbrook, Crest Burns, and Kings Mountain. Strong defense, Ken, against East Lincoln, for what I heard in the scrimmage play.
Yes, they do have a strong defense, and they had a good team last year, and they're in that tough 3A conference this year. It'll be a good test to see how Lincoln matches up against Stuart Cramer and how well they play against them. This will be a tough game, Tim. I see it could go either way. I know Lincoln's looking forward to it and getting out there and seeing what they can do with
Absolutely.
the personnel they have, and so I'm looking forward to that game and to see what Lincoln can do in that game.
Well, Ken, I know Coach Gibson's relying on his defense to make some big plays this year, as well as offense of putting some points on the board. So Lincoln High School, they're taking on Stuart Kramer this week, and it'll be at Stuart Kramer High School. So we're excited for all the Lincoln High School fans out there, and we might have a special guest next week in the studio with us, Ken, and he's one of the Lincoln legends, and you know who I'm talking about, Mr. Ronnie Carpenter.
Yeah, we can get Ronnie. We can get him freed up. We're certainly going to have him in here in the studio one Wednesday, and maybe next Wednesday we can get him in here. And Ronnie, you won't find a bigger Lincoln Wolves high school football fan than Ronnie Carpenter. I can tell you that.
Won't. So that's Lincoln High School. Next week they'll be on WLON radio station. Jason Sane and Philip Russ will be calling that game live. Ken, me and yourself will be at East Lincoln and Forest View, and we're gonna go to a little small break, Ken. And we're going to be right back after these short messages. All right, we're back here on the First Federal Lincoln County High School Football Show. Your host, Tim Johnson, and Mr. Ken Link. We're here every Friday. So if you like Lincoln County football, Ken, I'm telling you, this is the station, WLON 1050 AM. They've carried all the Lincoln games, all the Lincoln County games for years and years and years. So we're excited to be a part of that, and we're excited for First Federal to be a part of it too, as well as House of Pizza, Ken.
Yes, the House of Pizza, great place to eat in Lincoln, North Carolina, and Tim and I visited there. And Tim, I've never been there that I didn't come away pleased with the food, no matter what I got. The service is great there.
Oh, the service is first class. Atmosphere, food, everything like that. Straboni, pizza, and Ken, what we got to have house pizza the other night. Is that right?
Yeah, we got the I think the special House of Pizza special pizza, and man, it was loaded with just about everything. And it was good.
I'm telling you, we'll be there this Friday too.
Yeah, and we'll have to
come see us.
We'll have to dig in and come on out and eat with us.
Tell Marianne and all the girls there, Ashley and all of them, that Tim and Ken from the First Federal Lincoln County High School Football Show said come on out and eat with us. All right, Kenny, East Lincoln Mustangs. I'm telling you, Ken, they've had some great football teams in the last, 10 years? Yeah. 2 state championships, 2 undefeated seasons, just top rank in offense and defense, just in all the areas of the game of football and 2A football, Ken.
Yeah, they've had double-digit wins 8 out of the last 11 years and 12 seasons under Mike Bias, Tim. They won 78% of the games.
And he's moved on.
And he's coaching in West Virginia now, and David Lubowitz, the defensive coordinator down there for the last 10 years, has taken over the program. They still have continuity with the other coaches there, Tim. And I don't think they're going to miss a beat on the coaching staff as far as how they want to play and what they want to do. Now, they did lose a lot of offensive weapons. A great receiver in Cameron Dollar, a good running back in Childers, and had a transfer of Marcus Graham away, who was a sophomore quarterback that played so well last year. So
a dynamic player, Ken. He was
quick, yes. And he's really dangerous. Anytime he'd go back in the pocket and not even throwing the ball, but if he break containment and he could take it to the house.
Yes, he could.
But they don't have him now, Tim. They got a inexperienced quarterback there, Chase Jones, so he'll be getting his feet wet there. And they are trying to get their offense going, but their defenses look good already, Tim.
Oh, yeah. That's what – I mean, I was talking to Coach Lubitz this past Sunday, and he said, Tim, I tell you, man, my defense was outstanding against Stuart Kramer. It's a 3A school, Ken, and they scrimmaged down there at the I think it was at Stuart Kramer High School. Is that where it was?
Yes, that's where it was at.
And so they're taking on the Forest View Jaguars, Forest View Jaguars, and that me and Ken, myself, Tim Johnson, will be broadcasting that on the whatsupshopper.com. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah, the LincolnCounty.com schedule. Tim and I have got that schedule, and our first game out of the gate, as Tim said, is East Lincoln down at Forest View. And Forest View always has a tough team. They're in that 3A tough conference, and I look for it. They got a good defense. They got a lot of juniors back on this team, and I look for that to be a good battle,
game.
And Tim, it may not be a high-scoring game. We'll just have to see how it goes.
May not. Like you said, The defensive part for East Lincoln is going to be fine. They got to get they got a new quarterback, Chase Jones. Got to get his feet wet, get up under the center, just like Lincoln with Hollis. So they got to get their feet wet, get in there, score some points. If they can put some points up on the board, Ken, they can put 20, 24, 25 points. I'm telling you, Ken, they're going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah.
They're going to be hard to handle.
A couple of key players down there for East Lincoln on that defensive side. Defensive end and also tight end, Ryan Matz. Tim, this
good football player.
He is already committed. He's going to West Point.
Yep.
He's going to play for Army. What
smart young man.
What an honor, smart young man. And he was all conference last year, and he'll be heading up that defense. They also have
Jordan Baxley, defensive end line,
and Gage Wellman,
yep.
Devon Rigdon. They've got some good players down there. And Tim, we was talking about the offense. One of the players is back on offense. Chandler Jones. Now, he had 470 yards rushing in 2016, but he had a lot of injuries.
He did.
He didn't get to play that much, so he's a good running back, and they're expecting him to carry the load as far as running back at East Lincoln this year, I think.
Somebody else that Coach Lubowitz mentioned, too, on the offensive side, wide receiver Christian Parts. He said he's having a great summer so far, Ken. So he's playing well, too. So Chase Jones, the quarterback. Justin Barnett also is the second-string quarterback as we speak of right now. So you never know, season, going into season. So I know they're excited, too, Ken. So we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back right here on WLON 1050 AM. Ken, we got some football for you. Lincoln County's best in football right here on WLON 1050 AM.
We'll be back.
Always have and always will. There ain't no other kind of music in the world that.
Okay, here we are back, Lincoln County football time, and we're here on the First Federal Lincoln County High School football show. Here we're talking about the Lincoln County teams, and we've talked about Lincoln and East Lincoln, Tim. Now we're going to talk a little bit about West Lincoln. Those West Lincoln Rebels are back this year.
Yes,
and,
they are.
They got a lot of players back, and they got some experienced linemen up there, and they like running the ball. And I expect they have a young team, Tim. They said they only had seven. They had a lot of people come out, but they only got 7 seniors.
Well, let me tell you something about Tommy Sane. He's got a football team up there at West Lincoln, Ken, and I had to poke at him a little bit to get some information out of him. But I'm going to tell you one thing. He's excited as he ever been at West Lincoln High School. They've got a good football team.
Well, they've got 7 starters returning on defense, led by Dalton Burris and Hunter Leatherman on that defensive side. And on the offense, Tim, they lost their leading rushers from last year. But quarterback Seth Willis, a junior, I understand he's got a good arm.
Good-looking kid.
And I expect he'll be throwing the ball a little bit more this year than they have in the past.
And that's what Tom Sane was telling me. He says Seth is doing a superb job in practice. He's worked hard all year long. He said he's looking good, and he's making a lot of progress, Ken. So, and also they got West Lincoln's known to have some of the top rushers in our conference, Ken. This year, running back, fullback, Nathan Fansuk is going to be the running back, toting the duties there, running the football. So he's excited about him too. Also, they got an inside linebacker too. Dalton Burst is on offensive line. Dalton Burst on offensive line. He wanted to make sure I mention him, as well as Colby Varner, Jesse Hatcher, Nathan Hull, who was a state champion, I believe he was, Ken, wrestling. So he's excited. Tom Sane's excited.
Yeah, one thing he said, which was interesting, he said his offensive line is a little bit smaller than usual, but
You're
they're
right.
experienced, so I think they'll do well. We'll talk a little bit more about the overall league, but I think they can be in the mix. They've been forecasting him to finish anywhere from 3rd to 7th.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll finish 7th. I think they'll finish higher than that.
No. And I'm going to tell you something, Ken. Coach Sane, one thing we haven't realized about Coach Sane's football team, his coaching staff. He's had the same coaching staff forever, so that means a lot. He's got some great coaches up there at West Lincoln High School. I'm telling you, Ken, and it all starts with Coach Sane, but the people he put around him, he wanted to make sure that I made a point to let everybody know he's got a great coaching staff up there.
Well, and that continuity means a lot.
Absolutely.
And we've had some changes in Lincoln and in East Lincoln with Bias leaving. So, and obviously got a brand new coach down at North Lincoln. So it is the most, as far as the most continuity in Lincoln County football teams is the coaching staff at West Lincoln.
And he's done a superb job. He's been there, I don't know how many years, at least 10, 12 years as head coach, and he's done a superb job. So he's been at West Lincoln for a long time. Coach Sane played football at West Carolina. So, and he came back to his high school where he went to school at and started coaching there, and now he's the head coach, and that's Coach Tom Sane of West Lincoln Rebels, Ken.
And they play this week, Tim, at home up at West Lincoln. They'll be playing Drone, who will be coming in. I think they played Drone, maybe their opening game last year, and they defeated Drone the last couple of years. So I look for West Lincoln to come out with the win Friday night.
Yeah,
I really do.
It ought to be. I'm telling you, I'm excited for West Lincoln football. They're going to run the football, but I'm going to tell you something, Ken. Seth Willis is the key. If he can throw the football and put that football out there for them kids to catch it, that's going to open up that offensive line even more and let them, control the game by running the football too.
And that'd probably be a little bit of surprise for the defenses because West Lincoln always runs it, but they don't pass it too much. So if that'll be a change, and they got to prepare for that.
Yeah, so like Ken's saying, Drone goes to West Lincoln High School this Friday night, so the West Lincoln Rebels, and the Drone head coach there, Scott Lambert, his record was 2-9 last year as the head coach there, and that's Scott Lambert of Drone High School. So we're excited, Ken. We're excited. So we got a lot of good things happening on Lincoln County High School football. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about North Lincoln High School and that new football coach, Ken, by the name of who?
Steve Pack, and Mr. Pack's got them excited down there at North Lincoln, I can tell you that.
And he's ready, Ken. I'm telling you, this guy, I've talked to him numerous times on the phone, stuff like that. He's excited. I think he had about 150 kids come out for football.
Well, not quite that many, but I think he did have 87, which was the most of any Lincoln County team.
I'm telling you, we'll be back.
Well, now they call me the breeze. I keep blowing down the road. I ain't got me no.
All righty. North Lincoln High School got a new football coach, Ken. Head coach, that is, and his name is Mr. Stephen Pack. Remember that name? Good coach.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. I'm telling you, this guy has got them excited down at North Lincoln. I've talked to some folks down there, and Tim, they said he made a difference the first 2 months he was there. He got those kids in the summer conditioning program. Then he said the first 2 months, the weight lifting in the weight room, they improved over 20% in the first 2 months he was down there.
Absolutely. And talking to Coach Pack on the phone the other day, he said he had to change his whole entire offense and defense, Ken. So he's got new program there at North Lincoln High School. And I know your contact, Mr. Gene Sane, you've been getting a lot of info inside of North Lincoln High School.
I talked to Gene, and he's excited, and they're real careful about, not predicting they'll do this and that. But Tim, Coach Pack said he thought they would be competitive in every game, and Gene was telling us how well they've been playing and progressing, and they look pretty good in the scrimmage. They got a few things to work on, but he was also telling me, Tim, you better be ready for these guys from North Lincoln in the future because he says they got an outstanding
they got some athletes.
JV team.
Yes,
and they got some athletes on that team as well. So they feel good about the future. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely. And I tell you, Ken, one thing that Coach Pack was telling me on the phone, he changed a lot of things there. He's brought in a speed and agility and strength conditioning program for them to make them quicker and faster. And one of the kids he spoke about was the quarterback, Reed McQuarrie. He said doing such a great job. He said he's a quiet leader. He said, but he's doing a great job. He said he's gotten faster and stronger, and he's expecting great things out of Reed McQuarrie.
Yeah, and he was a quarterback last year, so he's coming back.
He's got experience.
And so there's one of the Lincoln County schools that will have an experienced quarterback back, and I understand he can throw it pretty good, and they've got some receivers down there that can catch it.
Now, they got 3 kids, Ken. Is that 2 or 3 kids that transfer from Davison Day? Is that correct?
Yeah, they got 3 kids that transferred from Davison Day. That program, actually, they don't have a football program, Tim. Their coach resigned, and they didn't have enough. And he resigned because he said he just didn't see enough kids coming up in the 9th and 10th grade to compete, and so they're not even going to have a program this year. But all 3 of these, according to what Gene was telling me, all 3 of these kids, Tim, grew up playing in the North Lincoln middle school system, and even one of them played his sophomore year at North Lincoln in high school. Right. So these are kids that lived in the area.
They still live there. They never moved out of the area, from my understanding.
And are familiar with them, so it's not a big transition. And one of those kids is linebacker Matt McMahon, and he played his sophomore year at North Lincoln and his junior year last year at Davidson Day. and he'll be playing linebacker.
He was the leading tackler, was he not, in that conference last year?
I think he was, and he has actually said, "Look, this is a whole different world than it was 2 years ago when I was here."
It's because of Stephen Pack.
Stephen Pack. He just says it's a whole different world, and it is. And a couple other guys that got wide receiver, Daquan Camp, who's from Davidson Day.
The one thing, Ken, about Daquan Camp, my wife taught him in school, so
Really?
she said he's an excellent young man, and he was hurt a lot last year too. You was telling me.
Yeah, and running back, middle linebacker, Clayton Cribb. He's a junior this year. It's another Davidson Day kid, but another wide receiver that really showed out in the scrimmage. Caleb Hawley, he was there last year, and he caught I think it was 89-yard pass in one of the scrimmages, and so they've got some receivers, and I look for them really to make some noise and do a lot better than North Lincoln has done in the past. They had a 2-9 record last year, Tim. I expect them to far exceed
turn it up
record.
another notch. Stephen Pack's going to take them to a different level. I'm telling you, Ken. Yeah, good things are going to happen at North Lincoln.
They haven't had a winning record since 2008, Tim. So the question is, can
That'll
they turn
change.
it around enough where they can have a winning record this year?
We'll
see. We'll see.
I don't know. I tell you, Ken, there's a possibility. I'm not going to say yes, they will, and I'm not going to say no, they're not. But I'm going to tell you, it is a possibility. But the kids have got to get that offense, that new offense going, that new defense going, get everybody on the same page of the coaches and stuff like that there. There's possibility.
Yeah, there's possibility. And if they have a little bit of success early on, that just builds on itself. And, and then you just build on that as you go forward. So we'll see how it turns out. I know one thing. The people down there really love Coach Pack, and he's got them excited, and North Lincoln cares a whole lot more about football this year.
Yeah, and I tell you, Ken, Hunter Sharp is another kid he mentioned too. Ryan Dolan and Hunter Sharp. Hunter Sharp's going to be playing defensive tackle, but he's a 3 tech and the defensive tackle. And also Ryan Dolan, who is a defensive end, he's a really outstanding football player as well too. And so, they really got to go in the weight room. He's got them on weights. He's got them working out. So he's did a sensational, terrific job there at North Lincoln. And they take on this week. North Lincoln will play. No, they have a bye.
They have a bye. And next week they open up against the
Carolina
Wildcats, a team from Pickens, South Carolina. And so they got an extra week to work on things and maybe do a little scouting and get some other teams. So I'm sure they'll use that wisely, and they'll be ready to go next Friday.
Ken, if you think about it, Lincoln High School lost all those seniors last year. Lost Say Surratt, who's at Wake Forest playing football, and they lost and they lost their junior quarterback and also their sophomore running back. Both of them was brothers, Jamal Littlejohn and of course Cordell Littlejohn.
They lost Ponytail McClain.
They lost Ponytail McClain.
Was a great running back last year, and so
they lost some weapons, Ken.
A lot of weapons.
Yeah, in Lincoln, I know Leffer is out there. I saw him up there at the football field. I've talked to him. He is coaching his heart out. I know all his coaching staff, Brent Gates, Cole Sigmund, and them. Everybody is just they're coaching the kids. Scott Cloninger, when he was a coach at Lincoln High School, his favorite thing was, Tim, when they get to me, I coach them up. Yeah. So and that's what Leffer Gibson doing. He's coaching these kids up, and they got and Leffer's calling the offensive plays as well as the defensive plays. And so, Coach Bird, he's still there. David Bird, he's still there. So they still got a great coaching staff. It's just that they lost Greg Pound and they lost Zach. Zach's taking a year off, so they lost 2 of their key opponent coaches too, Ken. So they're regrouping this year. I know that Lefford's excited about his football team. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, Ken.
And he's got some experienced offensive linemen, Tim. And I look for this year at Lincoln, maybe more than last year, you'll have a lot of guys going both ways. Some of these guys we've mentioned on offense, they're going to be on the defensive side of the ball, and we're on the defensive side of the ball last year anyway. So
absolutely,
some of these guys, a lot of them going to be two-way players, I think.
Absolutely. And so Lincoln takes on Stuart Kramer. The Lincoln Wolves do, so that'll be at 7:30. Also, you got East Lincoln, like we was talking about East Lincoln earlier. David Lubowitz, we're excited for Coach Lubowitz. They're at Forest View. Me and Ken will be broadcasting broadcasting that game on the LincolnCounty.com. That's right, Ken. LincolnCounty.com. I got WhatsApp Shopper on my mind, but anyway, LincolnCounty.com will be broadcasting that game live too as well, Ken. And then you got the West Lincoln Rebels taking on the Drone Wildcats. Drone's coming to West Lincoln, Ken. So we got a lot of good football in our area, Ken.
2 of them's on the road, and West Lincoln's got the home game against Drone. So we look forward to seeing lots of football this week, and we'll be talking a lot about it next week as well.
I know you're excited, Ken. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to go out there and do a little bit of broadcasting and reporting a lot of stuff back to you.
That's right. We'll be back after these short messages.
Motion, baby, you know that's against the rules. Offside and hold it, yeah. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, baby. Offside and hold it, yeah. Holding on to someone else.
It's the First Federal Lincoln County High School Football Show. Ken Link, Tim Johnson, we're here every Friday, Ken. Live in the studio, bringing you nothing but the very best of Lincoln County High School football from all your 4 schools. East Lincoln, North Lincoln. Give me the other 2 schools, Ken.
We got West Lincoln in there, and we got Lincoln.
And Lincoln, that's right,
and I'm telling you, Tim, we're going to focus on Lincoln County. We feel like they need to be focused on, and we're going to talk a lot about them this year.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And, you know, Ken, we're going to do something this year, especially for the young men who play high school football in Lincoln County, Ken. Why don't you tell them a little bit what we're going to do?
Well, Tim, each week we're going to be awarding to one student-athlete football player in Lincoln County an award that is the First Federal Lincoln County Student-Athlete Football Player of the Week. And what all that means is, Tim, each week following the Friday games, the head coaches of the Lincoln County teams will be sending us a candidate that they feel is deserving of that award. And we have asked them not only consider the on-field performance, but any other positive aspects they can tell us about the student-athlete. And Tim and I and Demery Brewer will be helping us as well. We'll be looking at those, and we'll be choosing a candidate. And that candidate will be presented a plaque, a award at the Tuesday practice of the school, and we'll be taking photos, and we'll be reporting that in the Lincoln Herald every week.
And want to thank David Keever from Lincoln Times News, Ken, the sports editor. David did a sensational job putting our article in the paper this past Monday, Ken. I know you talked to David as well.
Yeah, he did an announcement of our show and this award in Monday's Lincoln Times, and we appreciate that. And
our good buddy, Mr. Wayne Howard.
Wayne Howard
of
over
Lincoln
at
Herald.
Lincoln Herald is going to work with us and post those photos and a report every week of the winner. And so we're looking forward to that. And Tim and I, we want to spread it around. It's not going to be a winner all from one school.
We got 4 schools,
Ken. We got 4 schools, and we're going to spread it around, and everybody's going to reap the awards of this.
Yeah, that's right, Ken. And I'm telling you, I'm excited. I know we got a lot of good people working with us and helping us, and we're so thankful for KTC Broadcasting here at WLON 1050 AM for giving us the opportunity to come out here and be a part of this special thing for First Federal Lincoln County High School Football Show. And also, Ken, House of Pizza, too. We're so thankful the House of Pizza is one of our small sponsors as well, Ken. And we just love eating there at House of Pizza. Great food, great pizza, great straboli. Philly cheesesteak, they got it all, kid. And
they got it all.
They got the atmosphere. They got everything. So
yeah, they do. And Tim, the one wonderful thing about this is one of the folks that's going to be there presenting with us is Demery Brewer.
Yes,
great Lincoln County athlete, Lincoln High School, who worked for First Federal. He said he wanted to be there to help present that award each week.
Yes, and that's a great young man. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you wanna pattern yourself after somebody, he's the one. Demery Brewer is from First Federal Savings and Bank, who played Appalachian football and, of course, at Lincoln High School, 2007 state champion, Ken.
Yes, sir. And we appreciate Demery and his interest in this and his support.
Absolutely. All righty, Ken, that's going to do it for the First Federal Lincoln County High School Football Show. Remember, every Friday night, live right here at WLON 1050 AM, you can catch Ken Link, Tim Johnson, bringing nothing but your very finest and the best of Lincoln County High School football, Kenny.
Yeah, and stay tuned for the games tonight, and we'll catch you again next week, and we'll talk some more Lincoln County football.
You guys have a great weekend. You'll see me and Ken at Forest View High School with the East Lincoln Mustangs.
See you soon.